Hello there, wind energy students. Dr. John Troggy, and I'm just welcoming you now to Module 5 of our class, which is about local winds. I've been working on this thing fast and furious for quite a few days, and I decided it was time to go out and experience some wind by actually getting outside. And so I decided to go out into the woods behind my house, and I guess I have local winds on the mind because I started thinking about how the flowing through these winds, through these woods here, it's kind of like a shelter belt. You're going to learn about shelter belts in this section here, and how if I followed the rather muddy trail here through the woods, I would actually come across some areas where there's a lot of terrain, and you're going to learn about orographic features and terrain in this module. And I started thinking about how these woods are currently losing their leaves as we get into the winter, and how that is an example of the changing porosity of the surface features, something else you're going to learn about in this module, the changing roughness length of the surfaces. And I really need to get out more often, because apparently as soon as I actually get out into the wild a little bit, I start only thinking about things in the context of what we learned in our lecture. But this is really an important module of the course because, well, we are going to be learning about how all flow is really local flow. All the stuff that we've been learning so far about the forces at work and so on, and cyclones and anticyclones and jet streams and hurricanes and monsoons and all that good stuff, well, that's a pretty good large-scale approximation to the flow. But at any given location, if you were going to try to set up a wind turbine, or if you were going to try to set up a weather station or whatever, you'd have to be very cognizant of the local factors as well. I mean, are there some buildings blocking the flow? Is there some change in the roughness in your area as you go from maybe a field to something like an airport where that would be smoother? What about hills and mountains and other orographic features? It gets really complicated really fast, and unfortunately, that's the real winds that you have to work with when you are talking about wind resources and so on. And as a consequence, this just gets really complicated really fast. And you're going to see that we're going to be seeing a lot of vocabulary in this module as we talk about all these different factors. We also get a little bit, no pun intended, but in the weeds, in the sense that expression means that, like, we're going to get a little bit off topic a bit as we start experiencing what we're talking about when we talk about, like, Bernoulli's equation. Well, most of the really good examples of Bernoulli equation in terms of how it actually applies in your day-to-day life come from things like aircraft wings and the venturi underneath your gas grill and so on. So we're going to be using some of these as our examples to help understand some of the equations that we're going to be seeing. We also have a discussion and a homework set as always. It's a 2-week-long module, just like all the ones that you've seen so far this semester. Our next one, Module 6, is only a 1-week module. And I think we're in good shape to launch this thing. So I'm going to actually probably go find some, well, I'll probably end up finding either ticks or poison ivy out here. But I'm going to try to have a little bit of a day of getting out of my house for a few minutes. And you guys have a great experience with Module 5. And by all means, please let me know if you have any questions.